Hello, my friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Can anybody in the chat tell me if my voice is working and/or um, things are working? Let's see here. Where do I start? Okay. And I'm going to try my best to look at the chat, but I'm doing that from my phone. And sometimes it goes to sleep, which is stupid. Hopefully everybody is doing great. I'm going to try to make this an hour and a half with timers and whatnot. Oh, weird day in Minnesota. I'm noticing. It's like rainy and snowy and I don't even know anymore. I don't even know anymore. Well, welcome to a special edition of Game.wav. We're not meeting in person for two reasons. One, GDC. Half of the people that usually come to the meetings weren't going to be there, so it was just going to be sad. And number two, it's spring break for Hennepin Tech, so no one's really there anyway. So yeah, we're doing this instead. But it's going to be fun. I'm excited to talk about Dice Tower, which is what I'll be doing today. So if that's your first time attending a meeting, this is for Safe Spaces policy. I know we're not in person, but I still think that we can have a safe space here, and I want to make sure that everybody feels that way. So it's going to be pretty quick start point. Okay, let's see here. I want to make sure that my voice is working here. What the hell? This is weird. My voice did jump. Hello, check. What the fuck? Hold on. Check. Weird. That has like never happened. That's never happened before, ever. Very strange. Am I good now? So funny. Where was I at? Here. Fixed. Great. So, we'll do a quick little announcements. I just wanted to talk about VGM Con. And since Josh isn't, well, he is here, but he's not here. Since Josh isn't here, I gotta talk about it. Love you, Josh. Love you so much, bud. All right, let me turn that down. Okay, this is a little different in my own space. Okay, so yeah, IGDA TC is all volunteer, just so you know. So if you want to talk to any of these people, including myself, about questions, concerns, ideas, whatever, go for it. We are open to all things. There is a board seat, a couple board seats open right now. So if you're interested in that, I know you can go to the Discord, and there's more information there. But there was no in-person meeting yesterday either, so well, there was, but yeah. Anyway. So yeah, if you want to volunteer, you totally can. It's awesome. I really enjoy it myself. Many regular events here in our wonderful, amazing Twin Cities community. We got Jam Night on the first Wednesday. The main game dev meeting is on the second Wednesday. Playtest third Wednesday. And VR on the fourth Wednesday. And then we got Women in Games gathering on the third Saturday of every month, and then Game.wav is second Thursday of every month. So yeah, good stuff. And thank you to our sponsors, Noble Robot, 2DHQ, Hennepin Technical College, and Rem 5 Studio. They are all fantastic. Enjoy their services and whatnot. And then Nice Games Alliance, can't forget about them. Amazing, running all our events, and they are a great nonprofit. So consider donating. So we made it. Big time. Here we are. I keep checking the chat. I'm sorry. I keep looking down. Okay. So if you don't know me, my name is Robert Frost III, and I am a composer and sound designer for mainly games. Do some film and TV, but for the most part, games. And I want to talk about Dice Tower. We've kind of sort of recently gone on hiatus due to budget stuff, but I still think it would be cool to talk about what we did with the sound and music. And it'll be fun for me to, show you in my space how I did stuff. And I'm going to be opening up my Pro Tools, my Reaper sessions, or my Reaper session and my Ableton sessions. And we'll get a look at kind of some of the behind the scenes stuff and talk about some of the plugins I used and, just kind of talk about it. I think it'll be fun. Don't forget the sponsors. Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I am also a sponsor of this wonderful thing, Robert Frost III, LLC. Okay. Anyways, thanks, Josh. It's kind of funny. I think it's just Josh and who's all here. I would love to see who's all here. I know Josh and Scott are here. I'm not gonna wait. There's probably a delay too. So for those who don't know, Dice Tower is it's a platforming dice rolling game. So in the corner here, build a dice arsenal and roll to forge platforming mechanics. Sounds pretty sweet. So you collect and you roll dice. It's pretty straightforward. So you can collect many different kinds of dice, and there's different kinds of challenge rooms, and you're rolling dice to get the timer. As you can see, I'm technically. That's funny, Josh. You're rolling to gain the time you need to go through the challenge floor. Sorry. So you're rolling a dice at like these little dice altars, and your rolls set the time. It also, you can win upgrades, determine your successes at challenges and stuff like that. The main core game loop is in three different areas. We've got the planning phase, which is up here, and it's where you're like looking at a map and your route, you're finding the route that is best to get to the top or to the end goal. You're also choosing dice and charms to roll with. You can equip abilities. Your basic planning. Oh shit, I'm gonna go into the next thing. I better be ready. Then we've got the execution phase where your rolled time is used against you, I guess you could say. And then you're collecting resources while you're doing the run, and you're evading hazards, and holding on to your life for that precious time that you're holding on to. And then the last phase there is the upgrade process. So that's you've defeated one more room. You've successfully evaded and climbed the tower. So now you are at the upgrade space, where you can spend your dice at shops, and you can gamble for dice. You can gamble. And then you can enhance your dice with special effects. So those three things were very core in the making of the music, for sure. So I'm going to kind of go through the roadmap of how things started, and then just kind of go through things. So we started with a sound test for the time alter. That we just kind of got some sound effects together. Some of them didn't really make it in, just for time, but they're going to be used eventually. So I'll show you that. Then we did a planning pipeline phase. We worked through like how we were going to get sounds into the game. We made a Fmod project and made sure that we could push and pull, stuff like that. And then lots of discussions with Josh about the feel, the like inspirations, stuff like that. And then tons of lists, trying to decide which way to which way to go. And we ended up starting with the main theme, which I tend to do on a new project, because it can kind of be like it can be a good starting point for getting ideas for later songs. So like I kind of wanted to encapsulate all of the different ideas that Josh wanted and I wanted for a main theme. We wanted something somewhat bombastic and like very inspired by like Olympic Games, Olympic sort of just like that hypeness, I guess. And then so we spent a lot of time with that, and I'll go over that. After we did that, we started demoing more run music, and then we went with the planning floor, the challenge floor, shop, victory, gauntlet, transitions, and then we did revisions after all these. And there was revisions all throughout the way, but this is kind of like just the basic trajectory that we did. And then we implemented using Godot and Fmod with lots of playtesting and conversations with Josh. We did that. I'll show the Fmod project and whatnot. And then the vertical slice that we ended up with, you know, like those last moments were I did a lot of mixing, revisions, and playtesting, just make sure that the different events were triggering the right way and stuff like that. So that's kind of the roadmap that I went through. So let's get out of here. So we're going to start with not the main theme. We're going to start with the sound effects. Excuse me. So I was given this time alter video, as you can see on the, would that be your left or right? Some direction. My left. So your right, probably. So I was given this video because, you know, this was like the main sort of hub. It was going to be seen a lot. So we wanted to kind of start with this idea. So this is what I ended up coming up with, and I can kind of break down more of this after we watch the whole thing. Cool. Yeah, really proud of it. Thought it was really fun. It was a lot of fun making this. And let's kind of go through how I went about it. So there are, let me see here. If we go into my folder here, sound effects renders. So these are all these are all the sound effects that I ended up building. So the torch slam, that's at the end. Torch in, just kind of going in the screen. So this is the culmination or this is the end place for these sound effects. So yeah, so they're all built here, and let's see, what is the first thing? And in terms of hierarchy here, so the way I kind of do things is, well, let's see here. Okay, so this is a stem. All right, so for this altar table, you know, like I wanted it to sound very much like everything here. I wanted it to sound like it was happening in a tower, you know, like very much in the space. And so everything here, I think, is that everything? Trying to think here. I think everything here I recorded myself. Let's see. Yeah, these were all recorded myself with my my trusty concrete slab that I took from a broken concrete in Minneapolis. Here, let me see if I can find it. Where are you? Ah, yes. My broken concrete slabs. So I use these and then pitch them down or probably up. A little combination of both. Yes, this is Minneapolis concrete. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. I'll get in trouble. No. I took it. It was already broken. I didn't break it myself. So yeah, I use that to build this out. And then I have 3 plugins here that I use quite often. Wormhole, which does all sorts of crazy things. It's mostly a manipulation warping tool. OTT, which is just massive compression. It's something. And then my good old Fab filter, best EQ ever. So yeah, with this combination, we're using that. So yeah, and then I'd add like little stuff on top. What is this? Medieval town. Oh yeah, just some like boulder stuff, pebbles. So that combined, got that. Pretty cool. Let's see. The hologram. Let's see. This is a stem of it. In this, I used Quadra Voice, EQ, and Chorale. Basically adding, like, Chorale is a chorus effect. And then Quadra Voice it's like a pitch harmonization tool. It does a lot of things, though. It's really just a strange plugin, and I really like it. I wanted it to be an inviting sound, but that's that thing disappearing. The hologram. There's not really much to this. What is this recorded? What did I record here? Let's get rid of these effects. Oh, okay, I remember this. Let's see what... I know what this is. Okay. It's where the hell are they? It's my whooshers. Where are they? I just reorganized my Foley stuff recently, so yeah, these guys. Yeah, it's a tube. silly little tube. So yeah, that was that. And then I added the effects. Or, you know. So there was those higher harmonies there. Yeah, that one was fun. Oh, and I repitched it too. Or I added a pitch. So I ended up altering it even more. Yeah, I think I did that. I think I went up because it just sounded better with everything else. Pitch does everything. I have found that pitch is a hard thing to, I don't know. I use pitches a lot. I change pitch a lot, whether it's on the actual timeline. You can, if I press shift and option here in Reaper, I get this little tuner, and then I can kind of tune up and down. See, I know the tube. You will never forget the tube. So the torch. So that torch is just coming in from the right there. Just something to signal that it's there. What did I do for this? What is this? What the hell is this? I know what the sound is. That's a dead giveaway. What is that? It'll come to me. But yeah, it's just something in my Foley stash. Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy. So yeah, I just combined two of these together. I think this is just, yeah, just a little part of it. It's probably like a mic stand or something. I use that sometimes. The tutorial slide panel. So this guy, what's that? Okay, this is definitely something I recorded, so let's see what it is. Sorry. What is it? Sometimes I forget. What the hell are you? It's probably like, what is it? Man, I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, simple Pro Q, just kind of cutting out the low end, a little bit of the highs. You really don't need anything below like 200 hertz a lot of the time. And then above like 8K, sometimes that stuff can be problematic. But it really depends on the effect. Like this one, obviously, most of it's happening right here. You can even see it in the profiler there. Not profiler, but EQ. Okay, dice. For the dice, I used, let's see. I didn't use regular dice. I used special dice. I used D&D dice. Me and Tommy and Zach of Space Mace, we were going to play D&D, and I bought, dice and everything, and we played one time, and so I was really happy that we used this. So yeah, just the dice. And I think I had it in a little pouch, or I even just used this thing, this little case. Pretty cool little case. It's got a little dice. Oh no, what I used on this, there's a little thing. So that's what I did. I used that, and then for What is this? This is the, okay, oh, that's just a quick movement. It's more concrete. Let's see, and then, wait, this is not, this is further down. Dice bag. I think I just put that in a bag and just kind of hit it like a little plastic, or not plastic, you could tell if it's plastic, a fabric bag. And just a little tiny, like transient sort of hit, just to kind of push it forward. It sounds weird without it. Here's some other takes I did, and I don't remember. Yeah, just other takes. Okay, so then dice navigation here. Straight up just dice hitting them together. Here. Like this. And then layering it. So those are like a little darker. These are a little brighter. A little darker, but like they're just offset, so they're not exactly at the same time. And then I randomized them, and this is a bunch of different takes, so it's not all the same. Because even like the smallest change helps differentiate them. You can even hear like there's a difference in tone. And I'm always trying to find the tone of sounds. Oh my god, Reaper. Sometimes Reaper. Sometimes. Okay. So yeah, I'm always like looking for a tone, something to like give us some sense of emotional draw, because you know, just a click is not good enough. It doesn't sound interesting. Whereas this, it's got a little bit of like I feel like I can touch it, you know. It's got a little bit of, I don't know. It's got a little something. I can't explain my genius, but I know it's there. I'm just kidding. And then this is probably not what I think it is. Okay, yeah. It is just the dice bag. Yeah. I think I was just kind of pulling them together and just, you know, stuff like that. Lots of little dice grabbing things. Obviously, it's Dice Tower, so we needed lots of dice. Juicy, crunchy. Dice grab and roll. Roll. It's a good roll. I think what makes a sound worthy of using is when it feels close to you. Whatever, there's like always a focus in every sound. And if there's not a focus, it tends to be hard to distinguish what the sound actually is. And you can really tell that it is what it is by the closeness of it, I think. It's not the best way to describe it, but yeah. And then rolling in a tray, I just looped this. I don't even remember how I did that. And there's just like a rhythmic pattern here. Like I just wanted to make it sound rhythmic, but there's the spinning, and I knew it needed something to like break up that pattern. So we have a little bit of that on top. And then like the spinning out here. And I'm not really doing much with any of this stuff. I mean, I'm EQing it pretty dramatically. So without this. It's totally different. I'm cutting out frequencies because clearly it was on some sort of like resonant like surface. And then I'm adding this ring modulator. Which, what is it doing? Let's disable it. Oh, it's just bringing it more forward. Cause like listen how backwards, not backwards, but listen how muted that sounds because of what I had to do to the EQ. So like I killed a lot of by killing off a lot of those higher frequencies. I killed a lot of the transient, the touchy feely closeness stuff. So it just kind of sounds like it's there's not really much to it. So I added this like noise modulator, and it added a lot more forward motion. Yeah, that one was cool. I remember that. And then let's see the dice bloop. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so this. No, go away. Okay, so that's the sound of those kind of coming up. What is this? Let's mute this. What is this? Sounds like... Oh, this is actually a sample. J-Views hi-hat alternate clock shop. And I just, edited it in a way that looked like that. And then I added this, what is this? Boing pipe. So it just kind of has that, it kind of adds a little bit of a tone, a frequency, harmonic, or, oh my gosh. What do you call it? Tone, yeah. Yeah, it's really simple. It's very EQ'd. Okay, what's next? That's just simple. More recording of the dice bag. But then I added Space Blender. Space Blender is cool. It was a free plugin. I don't know if it's free anymore from Sound Toys. But it does some crazy stuff. You can do all sorts of weird stuff with it. It's a cool plugin. It's a granulizer, it's taking whatever input sound and it's like hacking it up and like reinterpreting it with reverb and textures and like modulation and stuff. I don't know how it works. I know it sounds cool though. Okay. Yeah. Space Blenders for NASA. Yeah. That's right, Scott. You got it. Nailed it. Okay, so what are you? Flame. Let's see. Oh, that's the money sound. The adding that plus $100 there, and this is my massive key collection, I believe. No, this was So we have this bar in Minneapolis called Up Down, and My mic is gone again. Weird. Maybe it's connection here. Ah, that's what the problem is. It wasn't plugged in all the way. Apologies. So, we have this this bar called Up Down in Minneapolis. So I have a bunch of these coins that I never ended up using, and they just have that perfect, you know, like money sound. So just kind of playing with these. That's how I got to that. I've got a lot of keys here. Lots of keys. I wonder where that's for. Probably some basement closet. Don't know. Okay, so that's the change. And then we've got like a impact sound. Where is that? Not even seeing it. Oh, there it is. So this is just a couple of whoosh. This is like a whoosh. Looks like a slappy effects and then a wood impact. Yeah, that's right, Scott. That's right, Josh. So we got and you know, like that had like a kind of like a money sound in the beginning of it. And then this just like a really distorted crack. And then just a higher I don't even really hear that. I probably wouldn't even keep that. But I think I probably just turned it down because it didn't really do much. Okay, so then we already did that one. Let's see. Ah, yes. So for this, I took this. What is this? This is like a. I think this is an FX Impact. Yeah, it's just like a VFX Riot thing, and then I just increase the pitch each time, and that's just not. Did I do anything? No, I didn't even like. I don't even think I did any. I did some warping. So when it says rate 2.391 or whatever, it's super short. Like I messed with it a lot. Like the original sample is probably right. Well, the original sample. Let's see here. It's right there. That's the original sample. And that might even be... I don't think I pitched it in this one. No, that's the original sample. But then, you know, speeding it up, making it shorter. It's like more punchy. Why do you do that? And then I added this kick drum to kind of bring it, just to beef it up, you know. And then, yeah, more kick drum, and then adding. Yeah, that same effect, only higher pitch and pulled it out longer. And I also detuned it. Or no, these are detuned and pulled. A lot of detuning and like stuff like that. Looks like we got Space Blender again. Oh, that's back further. Okay. Let's see. Flame. Okay, what did I do for that? So we've got Pyro Ball. Edited the timing of that. Ignition whoosh. And then like straight fire. Straight fire! All together. And then like crackles from this medieval town sound effects pack that I bought for really cheap. And then this long flame whoosh. And then this little fire torch, like torch moving sound. So yeah, all that together. I think it works really well. And there's no effects. I didn't really use a lot of plugins for any of these. Mostly just EQ. That's how I usually like to work, because it's just, you can get so much out of samples. And just simple changes in pitch and doubling and layering. Yeah, and that's just a simple clock ticking. That's that same effects that I used up before. So yeah, we got that ticker going up, and then the accept your fate. I wanted that to sound like, you know, like Mortal Kombat almost. Like, and since this game is like, there's a lot of like influences of gods and that kind of language, so I wanted it to feel, this one's even called Stinger Elder God. Most of it is that. I'm just adding some ambience. And then I'm using, you know, EQ to cut out a lot of low end. And then this to like, looks like I'm just kind of bumping a couple of frequency, and then half controlling the low end, because it gets a little too crazy. Is it doing any? No, okay. And then here I'm using a plugin called Fresh Air. Oh my god. Fresh Air like adds a lot of high end. You know, my friend who's an EDM producer guy, he showed me this plugin, and I really like it because it adds like some crispies that you don't usually get. Let me bypass that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it does like a, I don't know. It's cool. I like it. Some things it works better on than others. And then the accepted. Again, with the kind of like God war horn type thing. I kind of wanted to stick to that same idea for, you know, these two interactions between this accept your fate and then the choosing. And then we're still sticking to this like fire-ish type thing here. I think I used that one earlier as well. Sweet. I think that's everything. I don't think I ended up using these. I think these were, let me see here. Dynamic whoosh. Oh, these are at the beginning. So just like to zoom in. Oh yeah, forgot about that. I think these were things that Josh had requested after, because I had like done this thing with my voice before. I was taking it a little too, I was taking it in a direction that was like an announcer type thing, and it wasn't quite right. And so this was meant to sort of introduce the idea that like time is very much an importance to what's coming. It's like kind of foreshadowing the yeah. Pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna move on since I have spent a while here. So yeah, sound effects. Some of them got into the game, most of them didn't, but it's okay. I understand. No. So once we got all those done, we then had like kind of a template of just the sounds that we enjoyed. So then, so I had something to work with, and then I got into the main theme here. So this was a behemoth. This is a big track. Lots of stuff going on here. I've muted these are printing sums of like, printing something means it's running through one of my effects units, and I have to print the audio that goes through it, because if I don't do that, then it doesn't capture it. So I have to print it physically. So but yeah, so let's just listen, and I'll kind of go through. After we listen to it one time through, I can kind of go to different sections of it and play stuff like that. I'll try to keep it. I'll try to show you the stuff while it's happening. Something's missing. All right, so that's the no guitar. That yeah. So that is the oh, I'm gonna mute this now that I see it now here. There we go. So guitar was the main focus. That was the main instrument. And we wanted to go with this like Olympic sort of athlete, metal, rock, opera type thing. Just to kind of like, that was the direction that we were going with. So, a lot of this stuff is printed because this session would just tank my computer if I used it. So, I want to see if, no, they don't show up. So the orchestra, I'll solo this. So, I believe I used, let's see here. Typically I use, what is my orchestra stuff? There's the BBC Symphony Orchestra stuff, which is pretty cool. Here, I'll just make a new track and it's an audio track. Oh my gosh. Insert MIDI track. So this one's pricey. I spent probably $700 on this this plugin here, and it's got an array of things. So right now my buffer is like the highest it can go, so it's really delayed. So yeah, it's got a bunch of different articulations. But it's not just string, it's all the things, woodwinds, and horns and harps and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, this is the Symphonic Orchestra, the BBC Symphonic Orchestra by Spitfire. But I probably didn't use this one. I probably used Opus. Let's see. Opus is not. Opus is the plugin, but it's an East-West. An East-West. So I probably use Hollywood Strings. Because they do these like. Well, first of all, they've got these nice little performance tools. Where is it? They've got like a... Not this. Remove. Where is the... Nope. There's some like presets that are like pretty useful. I use a lot of presets, personally. How do the articulations get specific when you're writing the MIDI? So the way I do it, I hate keystrokes. Keystrokes are like... So when you go into this instrument... Here, let me... trying to find the freaking thing, whatever, it doesn't matter. So when I open this, if it's going to open, so that has all these articulations. Where is the articulation? There, right here, MIDI controllers. Wait, where is the articulation? That's not it. East-West is a little weird because you can load them all in. Like this is a certain style of playing. So usually what I do is I'll like I kind of did here. I have spiccato low. And this is just spiccato. And then I'll do like staccato, top. And then like legato. And then combine them together and it'll sound like, you know, more like an orchestra. I would say that I am not the most amazing arranger in terms of orchestral stuff. Even though I have a very big love for orchestral music. I mean, I started my career in 6th grade with playing violin. So, I mean, I'm really familiar with orchestral music, but it is a beast. It's not easy to make sure this stuff is in the right ranges, and yeah. But anyway, so that is like the string stuff. There's like horns and all sorts of stuff. And I was really just trying to make sure, we had that like kind of epic feel to it. Like just that big, almost like, I think some of the I think the temp track, or like the influence track, was the Olympic Games music by John Williams. Yeah, just John Williams. So I think we achieved that like big sound. And it shows. It's good. I thought it turned out good. Some dark piano. Lots of just layers. Just lots of layers. And then the melody is all guitars. I probably would have approached these guitars differently now, in terms of tone. But, it's one of those things where you constantly are battling with yourself. I re-recorded these quite a few times, just because it needed more grit, or it needed a different type of sound, and it needed to be a little more, needed to be thinner or thicker, and then I kind of would double stuff. Made these, like, on their own, they're gonna sound really, really kind of weird. So I just really hacked it up. There was a fuck up there. Something weird. Yeah, right here is like a bunch of... Actually sounds pretty cool. And then Josh was obsessed with chugs. He was obsessed. He's still obsessed. You're obsessed with chugs. So yeah, we were... And then, why is it only one side? I struggled to play those. I'm not like a metal guitar player. That's just like not my, that was not my... Oh, I think it's just, I've got it automated here. Pan automation. It does make the song. You're right, Josh. It was a good call. So one kind of interesting thing that I did musically that I like to talk about here. Well, first of all, like, keys were a big deal. We wanted to, sorry, I'm setting my timer. We wanted to like kind of make sure that things felt natural, so we did a little bit of, key management, trying to figure out which key stuff's in, and this is in D minor. So, one of the things I did that I really liked, I thought was, I don't know, it's something I kind of do in every song I write. I like to find kind of silly little tiny things that only I would notice, as to why I did that. Like, it's not, I did a key change. I went up a half step, between sections here. And, oh my God, this session is too big. So now we are. It's just a half step up, and I did it in a way that you really can't notice it. So it was more for me, but like in Dice Tower, I mean, this whole song is symbolic of the whole journey of the character. And that was intentional. So like, you climb in the song. This whole intro is a climb to this epic, rock chug fest. So yeah, it's just symbolic of like what the game is about, what it's doing, what the mechanics are. I really wanted to make sure that it was like connected, the heart and soul of the game. So, having an understanding of how the game worked, and like what the mechanics were and how you played and stuff like that was important before to establish that and like understand it enough to then record, all this stuff and like come up with the idea. And even the melody, it does things, and it kind of just kind of climbs. Anyway, that's this song. Is there anything anybody wants me to highlight, or is there any questions about this? I'm not really talking like specific music stuff because I might not have the language to tell you actually. A lot of percussion and drum stuff actually. Let's see here. What did I do here? That's not all of the drums. I think there's a couple drums. What did I do here? Oh, there's like a whole thing. That's the rhythm section. I want to get rid of the guitars, get rid of the bass. So just a ride. Definitely use Addictive Drums a lot. This is a really cool program. Let's see here. So I'm using like an indie rock setting as just like a template start. It's kind of got this like weird thing going on because I'm using a transient master, which then just destroys if you puts it right up front, makes it bigger, sustain out longer. But I knew that like I couldn't just do that. This is what I originally had, which was fine, but like I wanted it to be bigger, so I added like drum samples on top of it. And these sound kind of goofy, but with it on top, sorry, I keep so let me show you with it. So this is no drum samples. So just adds more oomph. And then there was just like, excuse me, a lot of like cymbal stuff. You know, these were all percussion cymbals. Timpani. Gong. What did I use for that? I think I probably used either Damage 2 or I used no, I think I did use Damage 2. So let me show you Damage. It is something else. So it is a contact instrument. Contact is it's a Native Instruments like housing content thing. Can't really explain it. It's just like got a bunch of effects in here, instruments in here. So Damage 2 by Heavy Velocity. It's pretty damn sick. It's pretty CPU intensive, but it's nicely optimized. I can't even tell you how much money I've spent on all these freaking plugins. Holy shit. I've got probably 10,000 grand of shit under my hood. Under the hood here. So, and we wonder why musicians are broke. So, just incredible sounding. I use this a lot. And there's different presets. Like I said, I don't have time to sit here and, you know, find every little thing. So I'm just using presets and then I'm messing with them as I need to. Yeah, it's an incredible, yeah, so I think I use the cymbals and gongs. That's definitely what I used. So yeah, I want to move on. I know this is pretty cool, but I want to move on. I want to get to some other things. Let's not save that. So where was I in terms of the? So okay, so we started the main theme, and then we started like demoing some music, and I'm just gonna show you some like. So this is my renders folder. This is like everything that's not in drafts is in the game. So this was the final version of. Sorry if that's loud. I don't care. I'm just kidding. And so this is all the drafts. So these were all the different versions. So I did what? This is all the versions of the main theme. 11 versions. What's the first version? Still a pretty cool song, actually. That was the first thing I sent Josh. And, you know, then I started building out. So I had that, like, guitar riff pretty much the whole time after that first draft. So I kind of YOLO'd that first one. And then I just kind of started building from there. Totally different. Okay, I don't even remember this. I can guarantee you that Josh said double bass drum and faster. And that's what I did. Changed it. Really worked with Josh a lot. Actually, this whole theme, not the whole theme, I stole something from Josh because, he told me that he wanted to, he had mentioned that he really wanted to write music, or he does write music, and he wanted to kind of work on it too. And I didn't want to take him completely out of the thing, so I gave him a little quote here. So I took that of Josh's like trailer that he released, and I used that and like that kind of was the basis of it, and then I built the theme around that. So Josh has a little eeny beady tiny little influence there. Well, he has all the influence all over the place, but that little musical quote. Yeah, so enough of the main theme. So once we were done with the main theme, and we put a lot of time into it, and it felt good, I had kind of started building some ideas of like sounds that I wanted to do. But so then I was kind of stuck on this like idea of like the menu before you start the run. It's kind of where my head was, because I was thinking like, okay, I'm going through the menu. I'm thinking to myself like, we're starting the game. This is before I had really any of this. I think we might have had this, but I didn't know exactly the UI setup. I didn't know exactly the flow. But I imagined, like you start the menu, and that song plays, the main theme, and then you would like go to a tower. Nice. Yeah, Josh recognized it. Cool. So then I decided, okay, I want to know what it feels like to go to the next menu room. So I kind of played around. So this song kind of added these elements of like, I wanted it to be folky, but I also wanted to have like this technology, sort of a little bit of technology, because like the Dice Tower, there was this like technology with the spell gems that I thought was really interesting, and I thought that like this like sort of ancient technology, I wanted to kind of add some more of these influences of like small electronics, like synths or something, but like kind of organic synths. So yeah, when we did that world, yep, yeah, check the comments. Josh has got some stuff to say for sure. And then the next one I did was straight up something I would use a lot later on. Let's see here. So the challenge floor, this is the challenge floor. That melody, that was the first version, too fast. But then, we started planning. Oh yeah. I thought this song was pretty cool, actually. But it was too happy. I don't know. It wasn't quite right. This is the one I actually really liked, and Josh said no. But I understand why now. Yeah, this one was cool. this was like a run. This was like it would have been like the challenge floor. And I think we kind of went back to this Ancient Tower V1 version. This is like planning. Then we, instead of the challenge floor, I did make a lot of songs, and like that all were, yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing, is like making stuff until it kind of feels right. And I'm trying to balance my ability to create something that I like with the vision of the game, and sometimes those things blend really well and sometimes they clash. But for the most part, everything that I ended up with was exactly what it was supposed to be, and far better than what I wanted it to be. So I'm glad, very glad, for the record, Josh, that you pushed me to do different things. And I appreciate so much your musical sort of mind and ability to just like, even if you didn't always have the right words, we were always able to talk it out and like in a really constructive way that felt really good and positive. So I really enjoyed working with the team, especially Josh, on like building these songs, because you know he had a really specific vision. He wanted the music to change throughout, and I'll right at the end I'll show you kind of the finished product of what we kind of finished as the vertical slice. Couple other things. So then once I had started these ideas of these runs, and I didn't quite understand exactly what he wanted, or in terms of, I didn't know exactly the execution strategy and planning of like the game flow exactly. It was kind of all over the place at first. So eventually we get to the challenge, or planning floor was first. So that was like, this was like my really bad first version. And for this one, the planning, so it ended up being in C minor, which is foreshadowing to the victory, which is in C major. So like I wanted it to start with the C minor feel and kind of go through the circle of fifths, and then end with C major. So this was the first track, and this track, so it's prep floor. So not really any action, but we're thinking about the next floor. We're thinking about the challenge floor. That's the one where, we've rolled the dice, we've got our 10 seconds or 30 seconds or whatever to get to the top, to get to the next floor. So I wanted this to feel like it had movement. This is not the final. Those are the drafts, my friends. This is. So I pulled elements away and it just kind of builds. Now, this song is built in a very specific way. I wanted this song to feel forward moving, to push the player into the next room. And that bass line is constantly going kind of up, and it keeps moving. So the bass line keeps moving and going up, and then everything else is also moving upward. Just kind of bouncing around. And this part in particular, that guitar, it's supposed to emulate a clock. Like, come on, get going. Like, you've had enough time. But if you've gotten to that far in the song, like, I want them to kind of feel like there's like a rhythm that's pushing them forward. So then we've got these, we didn't do the transitions until almost the final. That was like pretty much the end. And so we did all these transitions from challenge floor to different things. And you'll hear those in the final video. So then we had the challenge music. Nope, we didn't use the break. So intro. And then this is just music that's pushing you forward. And then when you have like this, there's like a spot where you can take a break. And so just pulled all the elements back, push the bass forward. And then it would go and go back. You'll see it in the thing. And then that we needed a chill floor. We needed like, from that, we wanted to pull it back and be like, okay, you've survived. Now we just sort of chill. And this is in G. So the floor before was in G minor. So this is like major. And all the elements pulled back, mostly bass in your face with like these, they're coming right now, really close things. I wanted it to feel intimate, like we're taking a break. Take a break, listen, and do the things that you need to do to get to the next floor. So this would just loop, and then, you know, we transition from this to back to the prep floor music, and then the whole cycle happens again. And then so we did all that. Yeah, Josh, listen to what he's got to say. Excuse me. So before we did the gauntlet, I just I kind of reimagined the challenge floor. Just like heavier. It's like a different feel, like more like faster, like almost like, it's not speed metal, but you know, it's like much faster. So that's like the hardest challenge room before you either fail and that failure sound is a callback to the main theme. Or you're victorious. So two very different thrash metal. Okay, yeah, thrash metal. So yeah, all these took a pretty long time to kind of get right, but I'm really happy with how they all blended together and bridged together. And yeah, just kudos to Josh and me for figuring it out. I'm giving myself kudos. Okay, so last thing, I'm going to go a little bit over the time I thought I was going to do, but I wanted to show the Fmod project now, because I think that the music is pretty interesting in terms of how we did like all this crap that you're seeing. So we did a lot on the victory song. Yeah, that we really wanted that to be the right feel, because it was totally different before. I had a different version, different song, and then at the last second I was like, nope, we're gonna change this, and I just rewrote it, and it was better. It was much better. So anyway, so the way that this Fmod project is set up, so we got our sound effects and we got our music. Let's see here, and then our simple, reverb, sound effects group and music group. So I've got a side chain going here from the music, so that when when sound effects hit a certain threshold, it bumps down the music, kind of like pushes it down just ever so slightly, so that you can kind of hear the transient of the sound effect. And just it kind of pushes it out of the way a little bit to like kind of blend it all together. And I'm sure that the what is the compression? Yeah, it's pretty light, 1:6 ratio, not even a millisecond. So it's actually kind of cutting in more. This, I think I did it more for not the transient, but more for the body of the sound effect. I wanted like if the body of the sound effect like trailed more than just like a quick second, then I wanted you to be able to hear it longer, because there was the reason why we made it that long, you know. So pretty standard stuff here. Did we even use any snapshots? No, we didn't use any of that crap. So yeah, all the sound effects are set up with this verb. This was the only snapshot we had, was just the verb intensity and whatnot. Some of these things, I'm trying to think of. Oh yeah, so the way the dice spin worked, you know, we'd have this 0 to 1. If I press 1, it'll go to the marker A. So stuff like that, you know, we built in so that Josh had control of when stuff changes. And some of this stuff never got really in, but that's okay. Same thing here. It's going to flame until I say. And turn off. A lot of it's just one shots. Alter in, alter out. Camera in. I'm not sure why that's there. Yeah, so some of the things, honestly, it's not really that interesting, but the stamina recharge. This is kind of interesting. And I didn't know how long it would go, so I wanted to make sure that it actually went forever. And these are in multi-instrument containers, so that I can, you know, it's basically a list randomizer. Josh's bell sound, I'm sorry, but it was terrible, so I had to change it. And I think I left no, I didn't leave the original at all. Even that, I was like, if I had more time. We really went fast. We went really fast at the end to just make sure some sound effects were working. We did not spend a lot of time on it. Yeah, here's some just like ambience. That was not the focus of my time on Dice Tower. I really wanted to do more with the sound design, because I think it really needs it, but the music was like the thing we really focused on. So main theme, simple. Yeah, I know I went over time, whatever. Yeah, you can hear the bell in the original one. It's really just blasé and doesn't really have a lot of dimension. I don't really feel it at all. So main theme. This was just a test song. Okay, so let's break this down, because this is pretty intense. So I don't think this is right anymore, but these different positions, transition spots, they are different values, going from 0 to 2. And let's just start here. So we've got the prep music, so we're in the prep room. So if we were to start going to the next floor, I would think I press 0.1. Yeah, and it just goes right in. And it had a little bit of and like I think we're going, yeah. So it's a quarter note. So if I zoom in here, all these lines here are durations based on this 137. That was the BPM. So it's taking that BPM and superimposing it with the actual, duration that things would sign. And you can see that the lines up with my song, the transients in the song. So, and then, once the song would play, and once it got to this location where there's this blue bar, this would loop. So I'll go to the end. And it would seamlessly loop. And then, like I said, when you wanted to go to the next floor, 0.1, and then it would play. So embedded in here, if you press this, you'll see, actually, no, not there. That's for another one. This is the transition from the prep floor to the challenge floor. So challenge floor is in a nested project, or in a nested folder. So if I double click here, okay, it doesn't double click. Okay, so in here, I had to do it this way because we wanted it to crossfade. So we got the song. Yeah. So we wanted it to be able to crossfade like that. And I can't do that here without causing a lot of issues. I had to redo some of my logic here so that we could make this work, because I started it using why wouldn't it have worked? I can't remember why it didn't work, but it definitely wouldn't have worked. I think that something gets like misaligned if I were to do it this way on this parameter. Like I had to put it in its own nested event so that it would cut at the right time and make sure that the song lined up when it would play and be able to crossfade at any time. So, okay, so we're in there. So we crossfade. Okay, back to the action. And then we win. Oops. Maybe it's 3. Maybe it's 4. Yeah. So that's the transition. Like you hit the top of the floor and then it does that last note and then transitions into the shop music. And I think you can go back to F marker. You can go back to the beginning, which is 0.7. Nope. 0.8. You're embarrassing me. Oh, it's 0.5. Oh, that's going back to Gauntlet. So if I was here and I wanted to go back to the beginning, it's 0.6. Nope, that's the Gauntlet. We have it written down somewhere. But like this transition was highly important. Nope. It's not working. Why is it not working? Maybe you just go back to... I'm confused. Well, it's in our notes somewhere, how these actually work. Josh, do you have the parameter settings that you could post in the chat so I could just see them? So it is meant to go back and forth, being able to be like, being able to go from Gauntlet back to the shop floor, back to prep, and kind of bounce all over the place. And then being here, yeah, that's failure. That artifact. I'd really like to re-record a lot of things. So this would just loop until what's the marker J? Okay. So 1.2. Fade out, and that would be the end of the run. That's like when you press, I did it, or press the button to kind of advance, and it would go back to the main menu. So yeah, this took quite a while to kind of think about logically and make sure that it all seamlessly transitioned. One of the things that I think a lot of people miss in Fmod, well, first of all, I had to figure out this methodology. Kevin from Power Up Audio, I was watching his version, or his Fmod project rundown for Celeste, and he was talking about using like nested regions and stuff a lot, and that was the first time I really understood them, and then I started to like get a better understanding of how these markers and stuff work, and it was a lot of work to just like get these little nuanced like transitions to like line up correctly. Like, this is one thing that I think people might miss in Fmod. If you double click the region, these region markers, or what is this called? It is a transition region. That's what it's called. So if you double click it, it'll show on the end here, this little box. This is the transition. And then you pull these little doohickeys here, and that's like, this is where the destination, when it plays, it'll start playing that whatever's in here. Yes, Josh is sending those different transition marker transition values in the chat, and those were the ones that we would use to advance the music when in code to get to the next floor and whatnot. So a combination of these regions and markers and all this crap. So yeah. And the cool thing about these transitions is you can add, like, these are all separate assets. Like I believe that they are music assets, like separate from the song. This one might not be it, but there was one that you can add like sound effects, specific sound effects to the transition regions, like nested within this double click. It gets so confusing though, but it's this little dot. That's what tells you. Little tiny dot. Kind of annoying, but yeah, that dot will tell you if there's a nested destination source place, and that's how you can kind of get it to fade out and fade in and stuff too. Another thing that I learned from Kevin at Power Up is fading out music and how stupid simple it is. So like, let's go to the main theme here. And so like, I play it, and when I press pause or when I stop it, it fades out. See that? You can do this in code, but it's just more work than you need to do. But so what I do is there's this little tiny thing here for the volume, and if I press over, you get this. You can add modulation and or AHDSR. So what happens here is it's going to release. It's going to be a 1 second release. So this is any time I press pause. So you can see that value goes down there. So that was one cool thing that I learned a long time ago from watching that video. Adding HDR or SR anywhere is really helpful, especially for like fades and stuff. Anything that I can do to make the developers' lives easier is something I'd like. That's the reason why you use middleware. Because I know that Josh and I discussed at the beginning if we were going to need to use middleware and whatnot, and that was a big. We chose Fmod because we knew that this stuff was going to be complicated. We knew that this was going to be weird. So, okay. So I'm going to quit out of this, and then let's watch the video of the final product, shall we? And I'm going to skip ahead. You're going to hear a lot of missing sound effects, but that's okay. Don't feel bad, Josh. I was gonna skip ahead. I want to get to the gauntlet stage. There it is. Oh, it's so frustrating. He's trying to get sounds, I get it. Oh my god. All right. That's it. So, so where are we at now? Well, that is the vertical slice that we worked towards. And a project is on a hiatus right now until we can kind of get some funding together. Things that I would do differently. Well, there's still a lot to do. A lot of these songs don't have, final recordings. They have warped stuff that I would probably just hire a drummer, or I would, hire a small string section, to do the orchestra stuff, or I would just blend it in better, or just, just like there's always little nuances that can be added, changed. And, frankly, sometimes that stuff doesn't matter at all to some people. There's some timing stuff that I wanted to change. Like I said, all the sound effects needed work. We just didn't have the budget or time. But I feel really good about the melodies, the feel of each song. That was what was more important to me than exactly the best final version of the song. But there's also something to be said about whatever it ends up being, like all the things you think you need to add, and it being just what it is. And that's also a pretty interesting, and it's totally different than I would have thought at the beginning, but I usually don't have a thought in the beginning of like, oh, it's going to sound like this at the end. I'm just my goal is to make it sound, as professional as possible, and interesting and fitting to fit the game, fit the actions, give good player feedback, give, make sure that I'm tying in things that are important, like the main theme, to certain events. So yeah, I think that all the things were represented that me and Josh talked about and exceeded, I think, which was really cool. And I'm looking forward to working together again, and looking forward to doing more projects in general. Scott, I'm looking at you. We're next, buddy. I got a short film I got to finish next week, but then it's you and me, buddy. So yeah, I appreciate everybody coming today. I don't know how many people are here for. So great meeting. Next one will be in person at Hennepin Tech. I hope people will come. And you can always hit me up at rob.frostii@gmail.com. If you have any questions or want me to dive deeper into something that I didn't talk about, or I said it stupidly and need to rephrase it, I kind of wung it. So, yeah. But thank you so much for coming tonight, and this was a lot of fun for me to come up with, and to like kind of go back through time and see and like reflect on this, because I don't usually do this, and I want to do it more. I'd like to do one with Alley Oop and Joggernauts, 2 other games that I've worked on. Same thing. I am a little concerned that I won't be able to open the Joggernauts sessions because I used Pro Tools, and I don't have Pro Tools anymore, I don't think. So anyway, it doesn't matter. I won't meet you at the bar because I'm in Minneapolis. I'm in Anoka, so sorry. But yeah, till next time, thanks so much for being here. And next second Thursday we'll be at Hennepin Tech. And yeah, I hope people had fun at GDC. And